Hey guys, thank you guys for tuning in to my Unpopular Opinions. This is an accumulation of things that I haven't directly spoken about and I know people want to hear my thoughts on, so let's get started. Okay, so WAP Part 2 was a flop. WAP is actually a whole song and there's nothing wrong with it. Whole music is fun music, whatever. It did get backlash and it got a few accolades, but when it comes down to it, there's only a certain amount of whole songs you can make before people get tired of it. WAP was a massive success and Cardi was definitely trying to recreate another WAP. But the next will never be good as the first. It definitely seems like she rushed to put this song together. It's been speculated that Cardi has been waiting for Nicki to drop her album to compete because it does drive sales for them. This is a theory and it doesn't not make sense. Jay-Z historically drops whenever Nas does, so it's not far-fetched to think. But she did say in a recent interview that she's not dropping another album this year. Recently, Cardi hasn't been hitting the charts as much as she used to. Jealousy with Offset didn't really do what it was supposed to, and that song was a hot miss. Let's be honest. And this song is repetitive. Pussy this, pussy that, sexual liberation, like, cool. Like, thank you again. That shit ain't always the vibe, and Cardi can do so much more if she stops trying to chase after a hit. Bongos, I get the vibe, and the beat is fire, but it also isn't what should have been released now, especially for Megan. This is the most backwards PR move I've ever seen. The Tory Lanez trial put a hit on Megan's career. She was vindicated and got the justice she deserved, but in the public opinion, she left a sour taste in some people's mouths. No one's saying she couldn't go back to pussy poppin' music, but baby, it was way too soon for that. Going into hibernation to popping out more fit, beautiful, rocking more of a natural look is a boost to her image. And one day I'm gonna make a separate video on how the natural look benefits black women more than we think it does, because her rocking the kinky curly look more homely. For her being natural and working on toning her body with her hair out played hand in hand with her comeback. Looking like yourself will always benefit you more than cosplaying and looking like other. It was smart to have her bounce back like that, and then we threw a little bit away with this song.
More turns in the keyhole. What the fuck? What does that mean? Wait, hold on.
Pussy took more turns than a keyhole.
Pussy took more turns than a keyhole. What does that mean, though? The pussy took more turns.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I can't tell.
The pussy took more turns than a keyhole.
I don't know, bro. That's something to think about.
Her music comeback should have been with something solo, something more subtle. It didn't have to be some melodic ballad, but it should have been more to her caliber. A song that showed that Megan could spit outside of just her pussy, showed that she can hold her own. It should have been a song that was more organic with who Megan is, with the spectacles of what she went through. Spit out a metaphor heaven with innuendos and give your fans a true comeback. This song kind of placed her a few steps back, cause out of everything, people want to see a level of growth, and talking about your pussy for the millionth time is just dumb. And Cardi should have just listened to her label. Cardi said her label originally wanted a Spanish artist on the song, and respectfully, boo, they was right.
It just sounded so incomplete. Then we was thinking, we just like, this song needs a feature. So it's like, a lot of people wanted to go like the Spanish route with it, and I'm like, I could see that. I could see that definitely, of course, like you could feel it. But I was like, I feel like I hear Megan on this. It's like, really? Like, you don't think that it's more like of the Latin part? And I'm like, yeah, but I hear her on this. Like, I know it. I know her. I could hear her on this. And when she sang her verse, I just looked at niggas like,
told you.
The song would have done better with a Latin artist that could have generated a higher buzz with that. The song would have been more fun and more listenable if there was other aspects to it, because the hook is catchy, but other than that, what else? When people compliment a song and the only thing they gotta talk about is the visuals, like, oop, I want? Okay, the visuals are fire. And now what? It doesn't make people want to listen to the song if they're riding in a car just because the visuals are nice. We're losing a level of substance, and one day y'all gonna get tired of that quick stuff. Chrisean and Blueface. I sincerely want them off my internet. Their drama is so glamorized, and I can't lie, I can't help but get sucked into it. But at the same time, it's plastered in my face, so I'm not trying to, it's just there. But respectfully, I am losing a whole lot of sympathy. I honestly don't care about both parties. Both of them don't belong together. This is a bunch of degenerate baby mama, baby daddy bullshit. that shouldn't constantly be glamorized on the timeline. Because it's a mess. It's a hot mess. Blueface keep going on rants, talking down on Chrisean for fun, or because he's a jealous bee. Either or. You can't say you hate someone, then you won't stop having sex with them. Chrisean keeps getting her feelings hurt, but she won't let go of her Stockholm Syndrome and addiction to his peen, and Jaden been around too long to let go. And it's just all pathetic. They all have mental problems, and respectfully, none of them are good parents.
Baby mama drama. Baby mama drama. Now she running, look.
Hey, Rock, beat his ass up, bro. Beat him up, Rock. Beat him up, Rock. Beat him up, Rock. Beat him up, bro. Tell him stop crying like a bitch.
There's booty cheeks out here. You in here looking for chips. And Slim Jims and shit. You ain't gay, is you? Huh? Are you gay? You ain't gay, right? My man. My dog.
Blueface has his own generational trauma that he doesn't want to break from his mama. He's weird towards his son, and Chrisean isn't as innocent as everybody wants to keep giving her the title. She's not that innocent. If she was ugly, y'all wouldn't have sympathy for her. Y'all would have told her to choose better, and that's facts. Y'all, Real Housewives of Atlanta was a hot goddamn mess. Honestly, this season was awful. From the prime of what Atlanta Housewives was, it was honestly terrible. It did have its good moments with Drew, but everything about this season was full of lacklusterness. What made Real Housewives good was the fact that we had personalities to bounce from, and everybody had their own minds and a level of sisterhood. Cynthia was considered the boring one, but if you set her off, she could read you to filth. Nene was the bombastic personality that brought the equal level of drama and comedic relief. Portia was the dumb blonde who was gullible as it comes, but she had the fun personality. Kenya is the beautiful villain who knows how to stir the pot and bring the drama, but knew how to stand 10 toes, and it made you respect her. She showed the downside of her childhood that made you empathetic for her. Phaedra was the Southern belle who threw rocks and hid her hands, and she was smart and knew how to throw nasty shade, and you wouldn't know she shaded you till moments after. Candy is the boss who will go toe to toe with you, but she knew how to distinguish wrong from right, which made her a good mediator. They themselves are a golden cast who had the personalities that mesh extremely well, but above everything, they had personality. With this new season, we have newbies, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you need a fresh face. But who on earth chose these people? Honestly, literally, who the fuck chose these people? I didn't mention Sheree because one day we'll acknowledge that Sheree is not a good housewife. She's a good bone collector, and she's a great friend of, but she can't lie without stuttering, and she lives in Delulu land. She can hold her own even when she's wrong, and she'll stand in all her wrongness and proudly represent it on her shoulders. She's a good friend of. She is absolutely terrible, but she is a good addition because she can be funny. Marlo is also a good friend of. But the thing about Marlo is that she has a darkness around her when she speaks. I love Aquariuses. I am Aquarius, but I won't stand behind that one. When Marlo speaks, you can see how she tries to be mean, and sometimes when things don't go the way she wants it to, she goes to the most vulgar and demeaning insults.
You acting about my daughter is dead, bitch. You already.
And that's what I mean by darkness. Real Housewives is supposed to be fun and lighthearted when it comes to shade, but it's not supposed to be hurtful. And when Marlo reacts, she just goes to the gutter, where it's straight up ugly to watch, and that's one of the reasons why fans don't find her appealing. I definitely understand why she got a peach, but I don't think it's working. She can continue to go on the cast trips and be a friend of, but a peach holder is not it. Sonia is the perfect description for a housewife. Pretty with a handsome husband, Ross is fine. And she has a great family dynamic with her parents and her sister all living together. She had an amazing career as an Olympic gold medalist, and now that she's retired, she's continuing the legacy. But as a housewife, she doesn't fit also. She doesn't seem to actually have a strong mind. She can think for herself, but she gives off someone who's easily swayable and can't actually hold her own. We've seen it with Kenya, and she couldn't actually back up what her problem was with her. And when faced with a challenge, she stumbled on her words. When it came to her issues with Drew, the reasoning was so dumb and far-fetched, so it kind of looked like she was trying to create a problem. And when it came to this season, it just looked two-faced. Like, she plays both sides and, giggles, hee hee hee, but in the face of it, she shuts down and can't deliver shade or fun shade. She doesn't fit. Her personality is very simple, and that's okay, but it doesn't make good TV because there's no delivery. Drew has been the biggest grower of the Real Housewives yet. At first, she dealt with a lot of setbacks individually from the ladies, and she had to learn the ropes on her own. It took some time for the fans to warm up to her, and she's a great breakthrough, but this season really tested her and her patience with the ladies and the audience. Drew, unfortunately, has been dealing with marital issues, and her husband Ralph doesn't really try to save face for camera. Like, Ralph is literally terrible. It's like she wants to be a baddie too and doesn't mind embarrassing her on camera. The detriments of her relationship has been the main anchor for this season, and it's just so sad to see. And the introduction of the cousin Courtney is weird. Who even allowed her to be on this show? Real cousin, fake cousin, how was she able to be in almost every episode, cast trip, and sit down of this season? Who is she and why is she here? Even for the season with Demetria, when it came to her relationship with Roger Bob, when her relationship was outed with the infidelities, the girl only had one quick scene where she was brought on to antagonize, and that was it. Like, that was it. You didn't need to bring her on for every episode to keep pushing the buttons. Nothing else happened. You said what you had to say and you left. But this Courtney debacle is just so nasty to watch because it just seems like the ladies, Marlo, Sonia, and Sheree, just took her under the wing and just made her gang. Like, what exactly is going on? It's forced and it's unpleasant. There's no sisterhood. There's no type of union. Everything just looks inorganic. Marlo and Sheree can be friends of the show. Sonia and Courtney can just go. And Manetta, listen, I ain't talking about Manetta because half the time she just be there. Like, she could really just go too. There needs to be a new introduction. I don't think we need a total reboot, but the Real Housewives of Atlanta doesn't have the edge anymore and the fans see it. Jersey Shore is probably one of the best reality TV shows ever made, and it was a perfect 10-10 casting. Even though they all fight and argue, the cast meshes so well together in the most chaotic way. It's amazing. Shout out to Mila Tequila because her review for the show brought back the joy I had watching it. It's a ghetto mess and it's addicting, but I love every second of it. Coco Jones is the best breakout star of the year next to Chloe Bailey. Coco embodies authenticity in her look and sound, and I wish her nothing but success. Kevin Samuels, although did help a lot of men, also did a large disservice in the division in the black community, and I like men that don't know who he is. I'll be dropping a video on him soon. Women do a lot of things for men just like men do things for women, and I wish we would just admit that and just move along. Like, girls risk their lives for BBLs, not just for the sake of looking good, but for the attention of men, and one day we'll stop denying it. We all know a good body can open a few doors. It's not an end all be all, but it definitely helps. I wish a lot of women will stop having children with men that don't care about them. I know a lot of people aren't pro-abortion, but if a man you're sleeping with clearly doesn't give a rat's ass about you or even try to help you out in the slightest when you need help, like, does he even look like he has the attributes of someone that would be a good father?
And disagree, and I'm going to show you. So coincidentally, it was like this trend going around on Facebook for women to drop pictures of their deadbeat baby daddies. And so let's just go through a couple of them and see if any of them gave active father. Let's just play a game, okay? So what about this gave active daddy? I just want to know. Like, and a lot of these men have multiple baby mamas. I'm talking 3+. Okay. What about this gave longevity, long-term relationship, marriage, commitment, active dad? What about this photo? Like, I don't understand. A lot of y'all were not manipulated. You weren't scammed. Y'all just messed around with losers unprotected and thought you were going to get an active dad somehow. Like, just look at the type of men you're sleeping with. Look at the quality of men you're sleeping with, and you thought you were going to get an active dad. And mind you, these women posted the pictures of their baby daddies themselves. So either y'all are completely blind and slow, and you just sleep with anyone, or maybe y'all just hope and pray that the scammers and drug dealers that y'all love will somehow commit to you. Because none of this gives active dad. Like, what could this man have told you to make you assume that he was going to be an active daddy? What could he have told you? Like, especially a lot of these men have more than 3 baby mamas. Why would you think you were the one? Why did you think that? Please tell me. I'm waiting. Now, some women do their due diligence. Some women do get manipulated. Some women do get dealt bad cards. But that's not a lot of you, okay? It's not. A lot of y'all don't lead with the idea that y'all are actually looking for an active father, a man that's going to actually be in the home. A lot of y'all lead with the idea that y'all are trying to get your rocks off. And because y'all are not leading, right, correctly, doing your due diligence, you get caught up in these situations, right, with deadbeat fathers like that. But a lot of us can see that in any scenario, this man would not have been an active dad in any scenario. So then you want us, the people, to believe that you were scammed, you were lied to. No, you did not do your due diligence. Yeah. So in this case, you did set yourself up for single parenthood, because why would you sleep with a man like that thinking you were going to get an active dad? Why did you think that? Why would you assume that? Especially a lot of these men have multiple kids they're not taking care of. What made you think you were the one? This is what we call delusion.
Like, sometimes I think women are warped in la la land and really make some poor choices. There's some dudes I honestly wouldn't even touch, and that's where standards come into play. And all women need to have it, because it does create a level of protection from the degenerates. Erica Mena got fired, and that's what her doodle brain gets. She doesn't deserve to be on any black platforms anymore, and y'all know how I feel about colorism, tomato tomato. Nicki's Pink Friday 2 will be the biggest album of the year, undoubtedly. There's a lot of eagerness to hear diversity in music, and it's the main reason why Doja Cat has been the biggest up-and-coming rapper for the past few years. And Nicki embodies that. The album will be big, and I'm happy for her single, Last Time I Saw You. It's a softer ballad, because sometimes people just want to chill. Not every song has to be super upbeat, and that choice single was a great idea in my opinion. This season of The Ultimatum was honestly terrible, but if Brian had stayed, then him and Raya would have been bumping coochies. You can't convince me otherwise. Well, that concludes today's unpopular opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below, and thank you for tuning in. Toodles!